What's up, everyone? This is Cardfight Destiny, and yeah, I know I've kind of been away for a while. About 5 months. Long story about that. So yeah, I'm here to do another deck profile after such a long time. And what am I here to deck profile? Yeah, you're seeing Dusttail Unicorn. I'm here to do another Link Joker deck. Yeah, last deck I did was a Link Joker deck, and I'm doing another Link Joker deck. So, yeah, I know I've been gone for a while, over a month. I was gonna do a deck profile on this after regionals, because this was the deck I took with me to regionals, and lo and behold, my stomach decides it wants to explode on me. That's a long story. I'm not gonna get into it in this video. If you're curious about that, let me know and I'll talk to you about it. Anyway, Dusttail Unicorn, for those who know what he is, good for you. For those who don't, question number 1, why? Question number 2, why? And answer your questions. Star-vader, Dusttail Unicorn. He's a forerunner for Link Joker. His skill, Counterblast 1, put him into the soul. If you have a Link Joker Vanguard and your opponent has a locked card, lock another card. Here I am, fucking horse. Locks your shit with no remorse. When he comes, you will cry. Soul Blast 1, and then you die. Look out. I've got a fucking horse. That's a song for all my old fans who might remember. Note, there will be a twist to that song, come soon when I do a, Gear Chronicle deck profile. Onto triggers. I run 4 Nebula Captor because OG draw triggers. I run 2 Pulse Monk of the Quaking Legs. This is supposed to be either Meteor Liger or Spark Doll. I cannot find either of my extras. So yeah, that's why I have him. I run 2 Vice Soldats because I need Star-vader crits. And then I run 4 Apollo Nail Dragons because, again, I need Star-vader crits. And last but not least, 4 Tellurium because she is the goddess of Link Joker and we always have to have her in the deck. Or to be exact, she is the goddess of Star-vader, and we must always have her in the deck. Onto my grade 1s. I run 4 Flower in the Vacuum Cosmo Wreath. He is the new G Perfect Guard for Gear Chronicles for Link Joker. Basically, for those who do not know what I mean when I say G Perfect Guard, he's the perfect guard that can only guard Vanguard and let you unflip your damage when he's in the if you have a copy of him in the drop zone, when you put 1 into the Guardian Circle. And just so you all know, yes, this works for if you use him for the cost, you can unflip your damage. So, if you're in a situation where you desperately need to unflip that damage, you can always discard one of these G Perfect Guards and unflip your damage. I run 4 Demon Claw Star-vader Lanthanum. For those who do not know what Lanthanum does, shame on you. You should remember from my last deck profile. Granted, that was 5 months ago. Every time one of the opponent's cards becomes locked due to the effect of one of your cards. Is it due to the effect of one of my cards? Due to the effect of one of your cards, you can he gains plus 2k, meaning lock 1 he becomes 9k, lock another he becomes 11k, so on and so forth. In Blast Joker, if you get the 5 lock, that means 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That means he becomes a 17k booster. Yes, I just did math. I just did math verbally. I am tired. It is 1:21 in the morning as I'm recording this. I run 4 Prison Gate Star-vader Palladium. Palladium's skill, for those who do not know what he does, Counterblast 1 during the end phase. You Counterblast 1, you put him into the soul. During the end phase of the opponent's turn, when a card would become unlocked, you move that card into... you get to relock that card. I was about to say you move that card into the soul, you move him into the soul. And the last card I run in my deck, 2 Star-vader Chaos Beat Dragon. I hear people asking what the fuck that is. That's a good thing to ask, because this is a very old card that not a lot of people run, and I'm one of the crazies who run him. A lot of people were actually very shocked to see this at regionals when I was playing this. Okay. Chaos Beat, for those who do not know. During the turn when he boosts a card named Star-vader Chaos Breaker Dragon, if the opponent has at least 1 locked card, he gets he gives Chaos Breaker an extra 5k when he boosts, meaning he becomes an 11k. for those of you who are not in Vanguard during the Season 3 Break Ride era, this thing was, where cards like this were popping up a lot, this thing was one of the best special boosters. Because unlike all the others, which required you to Soul Blast 1, he just needed your opponent to have a locked card, because Chaos Breaker Dragon required the Soul Blast. So, this thing in a Chaos Break, with Chaos Breaker Dragon was very mean. This gives away what my deck is, by the way. But, that's besides the point. I'll get to why this thing is actually very powerful in this deck later, but on another note, this also works on Rearguard, because it doesn't say he has to be boosting a Vanguard named Chaos Breaker Dragon. So, if you're in clutch mode situations, call it behind call a Chaos Breaker Dragon to Rearguard, call this. Now you have 22k Rearguard swing. That's very easy to do. I'll get to exactly reasons why I run that and combos that work really well with it later. Getting on to my grade 2s, I run 3 Star-vader Colony Maker. Colony Maker, when she hits Rearguard Circle and the opponent has has at least one locked card, you counterblast 1, you get to search your deck for a grade, counterblast 1, search your deck for a grade 1 or less, just need to double check to make sure. Link Joker, is it Link Joker? No, you search for a grade 1 or less Star-vader. Excuse me. And then you call it to Rearguard Circle and shuffle the deck. Now onto a brand new card that came out in G Booster Set 3 along with Cosmo Wreath. I run 4 Chain Battling Star-vader Technetium. Okay, getting onto this thing. Technetium skill. I discard a Star-vader from my hand. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Star-vader in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, Technetium gets an extra 5,000 power, and it gains the skill of when its attack hits Vanguard, you soul charge 1 and you unflip 1 damage, or as the new terminology is, you countercharge 1. Now, here's the thing, you don't have to be attacking a Vanguard to give it the plus 5k, so you can make it 11k to hit Rearguards. But you do need to be attacking and hit the Vanguard to get the Soul Charge Countercharge. Either way, though, this thing is really good for Chaos Breaker. It's also pretty good for Blaster Joker. But there's no point to running in a Blaster Joker, since Blaster Joker's dead in this format. And unlike Chaos Breaker, which allows you to refuel your hand, Blaster Joker does not. And, of course, to end this off, I run 4 Companion Star-vader Photon. Photon is the mate to both Blaster Joker and Garnet Star Dragon, and I have Confetti Photons, aka Legion Rares. Now, for those who do not know what Photon does, when Photon hits Rearguard Circle, if you have a Star-vader Vanguard and your opponent has at least one locked card, lock another card. On to my grade 3s. I run 4 Garnet Star Dragons. Garnet Star Dragon. Legions with Photon, like I said earlier. It's Legion skill. When this unit becomes Legion, you get to lock one of your opponent's front row and one of your opponent's back row rearguards. Also, when it attacks, it gets plus 2k. When it attacks a Vanguard, it gets plus 2k. Now, getting on to the Legion skill really fast. For those who do not know, because, again, I had to deal with this at Regionals. When I go into Legion, even if you at least have one locked card, that card gets locked. You do not have to have a front and a back row rearguard for me to lock both your units. His skill is treated exactly as Infinite Zero Dragons was. As long as you at least have one card on board, I get to fulfill the conditions as much as possible. So, since you have one locked card in the front row, or you have if you have one card in general in the front row, or you have one card in general in the back row, guess what's happening? It gets locked, people. There is no way to prevent me from locking one of your cards. And of course, last but not least, good old boss monster himself, Chaos Breaker Dragon, I run at 4. The Clown, as he is known as in his lore, and as I always refer to him as. His skill goes as followed. Limit Break 4. I Soul Blast one card with Star-vader in its card name. This is why he's not supposed to be in the deck. I need it to be Spark Dolls or Meteor Laggers. So anyway, I Soul Blast one card with Star-vader in its card name. When one of your cards, during the opponent's end phase, when one of their cards becomes unlocked, retire that card, then draw a card. Now, for those of you who do not know, if one of your cards becomes locked, and then I relock it with Palladium, I still get to draw. Your card doesn't die, but I still get to draw. It's mostly because of the fact that his wording is then. If you do, you may pay the cost. If you do, retire their rearguard unit and draw a card. Excuse me, it's and, not then. I misread the wordings. Anyway, like I was saying, sorry, trying to read upside down at 1:28 in the morning is annoying. Anyway, like I was saying, because of the wording and, not then, I got those mixed up. Chaos Breaker's skill can work. If it says then, that means both conditions need to be met. If it says and, only one condition needs to be met. Just so you know. There are some cases where I'm wrong on that, and I will gladly say so. But in the case of Chaos Breaker Dragon, if you have one locked card, if I relock your card with Palladium, I get to still draw off of it. Oh yeah, his second skill, Counterblast 1, ditch a Star-vader. I get to lock one of your cards, and of course the last skill is that stupid Lord skill. That doesn't matter, because we have clan fight rules, which means we can't clan mix. For those who don't know what Lord is, because you got into the game really late, Lord basically states that while he's anywhere on board, if I have a card that's not a Star-vader, if I have a card that's not a Link Joker, he can't do anything. Alright, starting off with, I run one Miracle Element Atmos. Miracle Element Atmos is a Cray Elemental. It's treated as all clans and all nations. Atmos' skill. Counterblast 1, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gains an extra 10,000 attack. Meaning, on stride, it swings for 36,000 unboosted. If I strode over Chaos Breaker, and it's boosted by Chaos Beat, he now swings for, what is it? 26, 36, 47. I'll get to that. I'll get to explaining that more in a little bit more. I run, but Atmos isn't there to be used for his skill. Atmos is there to fire, to allow me to activate Snow Element Blizza. Snow Element Blizza. You counterblast one, you flip up any of your G units, and then when it attacks, you do this when it attacks, and when it attacks, it gains plus 5k for every face-up G unit. This is typically my final stride. Because, if I strode, what is it? Twice with my main stride, that's 4 units face up. So when he swings, he's getting 20,000. No, 25,000, because you then have to pay the cost to flip this up, so that's 1 extra face up. Anyway, moving on. I run 2 Genesis Dragon Judgement Messiahs. Judgement Messiah. When its attack hits a Vanguard, I get to lock one of your back row rear guards. So, that's pretty much that. It's mostly there just to give me a first stride, so then I can use Admiral Crunch Crunch, Nebula Dragon, Big Crunch Dragon. Yeah, my deck was called Admiral Crunch Crunch in Regionals, so that name just kind of stick, and I just kept calling him Admiral Crunch Crunch since. Anyway, I'm babbling. Big Crunch Dragon skill. You counterblast one, you flip up a copy of himself. During the main, G zone. If there's 2 face-up G units in your G zone, choose one of your opponent's rear guards. Lock all of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as that unit, and those cards cannot be unlocked until during your opponent's next end phase. Meaning, basically, I Omega lock those cards. This is where the whole deck now fits into motion. Because some of you may be asking, why am I running Chaos Breaker Dragon and not the Limit Break Enabler? That's because I typically want to sit on Chaos Breaker early game. Typically, I sit on Chaos Breaker early game. I stride. I start locking down cards. By the time I have my second stride, I want to be at Limit Break already. And then I just proceed to start locking your cards down and retiring them and plussing off of it. By the way, excuse the jump cut. My camera's battery died. Anyway, like I was saying, this is an annoying column because now anything if I'm on Chaos Breaker and I stride, anything I stride now swings for 37. More than 37 if I'm on either of these guys. So, essentially, now I'm beating you down with big numbers. I get a lot of people, this is why I prefer him over the Limit Break Enabler. I get a lot of people asking me why I don't run the Limit Break Enabler. That's because New York is a very retire-heavy area. Surprise, surprise. And, dealing with the Limit Break Enabler here, I have to worry about fighting Shadow Paladins or Turbo Time, Big Bang Knuckle Turbo, or Narukami. Well, not really as much Narukami, unless I'm fighting something. Well, no. It's basically just those two things I have to worry about, which are some of the really big decks in this game right now. So I don't want to have to worry about, me being low on damage because I have the cushion of the Limit Break Enabler allowing me to go into Limit Break anytime I want. And then all of a sudden my opponent deciding to go, hey, you're at 3 damage? I have a lot of these locked cards. I don't want you plussing off of them, so I'm going to call Plaster Dark Revenger Abyss and nuke your Limit Break Enabler, or I'm going to stride Turbo Time and just destroy your whole field. Or I'm gonna just swing with Knuckle Buster and kill the Limit Break Enabler because I don't like that thing. I don't want to deal with that. So I just allow myself to get to Limit Break by the time I'm striding into him, and I just use him to hit for big numbers. People go, oh well, they'll do the same thing with that. Yeah, but by the time they're doing that, I've already done my damage with him, so I don't mind, and I can easily get him back by going to this. Not to mention, I don't care if I'm on this with him behind him, because that's swinging for 28,000, which is still a good number, because even with a 7k, I'm just swinging for 29,000. It doesn't make a difference. And even if I'm not in Legion, when I'm swinging with just these two, I'm swinging for 19, which is the same as swinging with a 7k behind. So it literally makes no difference number-wise. So, this is pretty much it. This is the deck I ran at Regionals. My Chaos Breaker Garnet Star Stride deck. I don't run the Stride Enablers because I don't feel that there's enough room. If I ever decide to try and run Destiny Dealer in the deck, I'll just replace it with that. But the main reason I don't run it is because Technetium, because if Technetium hits, which surprisingly a lot of people for some reason let me have Technetium hit, I soul charge. I really don't want to soul charge not Star-vaders. I'm already running that risk by running Cosmo Wreath, and technically the not Star-vader crit, but that's not supposed to be in the deck to begin with. But now I'm just rambling. This is Cardfight Destiny saying out, and I will see you all next time, people. Peace.